Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV and very excited tonight. We're here to preview the start of the FA WSL, that's the Women's Super League. First game, Aston Villa against Manchester City. And I'm joined by two very special people in the house tonight. We've got Adam, who's a big Villa fan, and Jenny, who's a big, obviously, Manchester City fan. And obviously you've seen her on the channel before. How are you doing, guys?
Yeah, not too bad. Yes.
I think you both said you were all right. You're not too bad. Yeah. So look, it's from, if I get all my facts right, Villa have been promoted, and obviously City finished second in the Super League last season. I'm going to start off with Adam, if I can, and I'll try and put it on to speak of you when I've asked the question. Start off by saying, how good were you last season to get promotion? I mean, did you think you were going to do it? Or did you exceed your expectations?
With the signings that was made at the start of the season, it looked like the only thing we wanted to do was get promoted. I think they went to training a lot more, and pretty much if we didn't get promoted, then we might have failed in what we were meant to do that season compared to the season before.
Yeah. Do you think you took it very, very seriously? How much do Aston Villa, as a club, do you think support the women's team? I know at City it's like it's one team or same team, same goals. But how much do Aston Villa support their women's side?
I think things have got a lot better in the last year and a half. I know they train at Bodymoor Heath now with the men. I know obviously they're going professional now as well. I think there was a bit of that came in last season as well. And it does seem like there's a lot more togetherness with the team. Obviously there's a lot more that can come with it as well, but hopefully that'll come this season.
Fantastic. I'm going to ask Jenny a question. Obviously City finished second last season. I know it was gutting to finish second. The way the season finished, we were on top. Chelsea had a game in hand. The season was stopped, and they did it on points per game. And we've just got to accept it. I mean, we did have our chance. We drew with them in the last game we played 3-3. If we'd won that game, we'd have been champions. But how do you assess last season, Jenny?
I think it was disappointing because although, the season was stopped and we were on top, the likelihood of Chelsea losing that game in hand was pretty slim. But we lost out on the Continental Cup. We've not finished the FA Cup yet, but that's been finished. So I think on a whole they've got to be quite happy, but I know I was disappointed.
It's a bit odd, isn't it? But it does sound daft. They haven't finished last season's FA Cup. They're going to finish it this season. And then they're going to start this season's FA Cup as well. Would you have preferred that they finished last season's FA Cup before the Women's Super League started, Jenny?
Yeah, I don't know why they've done it that way. I think they could have done it, like the men did it.
Yeah.
Rather than doing it like this. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, you're right. I've got to agree with you there. I'm going to move back to Adam. I'm going to ask you, have you made many signings this season? Obviously, I mean, you've got yourself up to the Premier League. So who have you got in this season that you think is going to make a difference?
With this season, a lot of players that have come in, they're kind of unknown, really. They're players from different leagues. The only one really that we know of is Chloe Arthur, who's come over from Birmingham. Obviously saw her play with Bristol as well under Willie Kirk. She's a grafter in the midfield, something that will really help. With the other players, it looks like Eni Aluko has kind of touted them to come in, so hopefully they're going to be something great that can add to the team. But at the moment, it's a bit kind of the unknown. You can watch a few videos online, but until they actually step foot in the WSL, you're not too sure how they're going to gel.
Absolutely. And Jenny, obviously, we're at different ends of the league. With Villa, obviously, just been promoted. A lot of City's players are actually becoming household names. Obviously, we've got fantastic stars. I mean, we could spend 5 minutes going through all the fantastic stars like Jill Scott, Ellie Roebuck, and then Caroline Weir. Then I've forgotten all the names. I've gone all blank. But we've got lots of Lauren Hem, lots of fantastic stars at City. But who have we got? I mean, we've got some big players in, and who do you think we might still get?
Well, I mean, last week we saw what Chloe Kelly's capable of. And obviously we've not seen Rose Lavelle with being quarantined. But there is still that chance that we've got Alex Greenwood and Lucy Bronze coming in. Although they're keeping very tight-lipped at the minute as to what's happening. But, yeah, some good signings, I think, on a whole.
Yeah, I think we've got Sam Mewis as well. These American players, they are at the top of the game. And if we can get Lucy Bronze back, and I'm sure we're getting Alex Greenwood. I've read about that for ages, and it's going to be a massive addition. So, Jenny, I'll stay with you, Jenny. With all these new additions, what are your hopes for that WSL season?
I think the main thing for Manchester City is they want to finish the season as champions again, and probably I know they want the Champions League. That's for definite. And I think with these players we've got such an in-depth squad now that we can rotate and, hopefully rest some players before some of the bigger games and, do it that way.
You mentioned the Champions League. It's blooming hard to get anywhere near Lyon, it seems. Have they won it, was it 5 times on the bounce or something daft?
Yeah.
They might as well keep it now. But if we do get Lucy Bronze back, we're getting people like Lucy. Like if we get Alex as well, they've both been at Lyon, so they both scale the heights. So do you think that is a realistic chance? I mean, what for you would be a good Champions League campaign? Is it actually winning it, or would you say if we got to semi-finals, that's an improvement?
No, I think we need to win it to know that we're actually improving. We've had a couple of bad seasons where we've gone out in the first knockout phase, and it's not been good the last couple of seasons. But I think if Lucy Bronze comes, there'll be that in the dressing room. She knows what you need to do to win it, and I think although Lyon are still a very good side, I think there is a few players that are getting on a bit, in their playing careers. So, are they going to be as good next season or maybe the season after if they don't strengthen? Okay. It's hard to say.
Yeah, Adam, I'll ask you. I mean, obviously, you've been promoted, and usually a lot of teams, when they get promoted, they say, when they look at a new season, their attitude is, we just want to stay up. So do you think, is that going to be Villa's? Are Villa going to put up a better fist of it than Liverpool did last season? They were rubbish. Do you think you guys, is that your aim, just to stay up and then consolidate and then move forward in future seasons?
Yeah, I think the first season you have to staying up is the most important thing. But I mean, when you look at the teams around us as well, there's no reason we can't be competing with, a couple of the teams in there and moving a few places up away from relegation as well. So hopefully that'll be something that can happen. But yeah, staying in the league is the most important thing and developing as season goes on.
Yeah. I mean, I'll ask you both. I'll start with Adam again. How do you see the women's game developing at the moment? Because, we had the World Cup before last season. The women's game was like huge. I mean, the viewing figures for the BBC were massive for the women's game. And it was just like, was it 4 or 6 weeks of immense fun over in France. And the season started with, City versus United at Etihad Stadium, at the main stadium with over 30,000 fans. And they were doing that throughout the season. And at various games where they were having them at the main stadium, and they were having some huge crowds. So how do you see, I'll start with Adam, how do you see the women's game going forward?
I think it's a very exciting game to be kind of involved with at the moment, because more people are starting to accept the fact that it's football and not so much women's football. You know, there are massive differences, but at the end of the day, if you're a football fan, you're a football fan that enjoys watching good football.
Yeah.
And I think the future it looks great for women's football.
What about you, Jenny?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think that, you know, we're drawing players. Obviously, City have made the 2 signings of the American girls, and America's always been that step ahead on women's football. They're probably better with their women's football than the men's football until perhaps a couple of years ago. So I think the fact that we're drawing them in, and it's not just City that's drawing them in, there's other teams as well. And then you've got the likes of, you know, Sam Kerr's come, who's a fabulous Australian and, you know, got a very good record. And it's drawing these players in, and I think we can only build on it now. We've got to keep the momentum up. The FA have got to keep pushing the women's game. I have just heard, though, that with England women are now going to get paid the same when they represent the country, which is a good start, I think.
It's the right way to go. We're going to obviously look at tomorrow's game now. Villa versus City. Adam, I'll start with you. Who do you think are going to be the special players for Villa? And maybe not just tomorrow, but for the rest of the season. Who are the 2 or 3 people that we really need to keep an eye on?
I think to start with, you've got to look at someone like Asmita Rail, who has come up through the RTC. She's just fantastic, especially for her age as well, a young English player. She's going to be someone that is very hard to get past. I think as well, I say with the new signings, you never know. You hear some good things about the players, so hopefully a few of them will step up as well. Obviously, you've got to look at Emma Fallis, who has already got WSL experience, who was a big part of us getting promoted last season as well. And she'll be someone that steps up for definite. And I think overall we've got quite a decent squad that a lot of people won't know yet as well. So on match days, it could be quite tricky for them to stop us.
That'll be interesting, yeah. Jenny, I'm gonna nail you down here, Jenny, to 3 players, because whenever I ask you who are City's dangerous players, you rattle off about 12 names. And I agree. City have got, you know, we've got a good squad, and we've got an even stronger squad than last season. Last season was a really good squad again. But can you give me just 3 names of the players that you think will be big against Villa or big during the season?
Well, I think Steph Orton's going to be an ever-present, like she usually is. I think her experience in the defence, whether it's with Esme or whoever plays in that defence, you know, the experience will tell. And I think probably in midfield, it's somebody like Kira Walsh, who she's just got so many aspects to the game. You know, she can spot a pass and she can make good crosses and good passes to the forwards. And she can score as well, so that's another one. And I think Lauren Hemp, I think she's injured for tomorrow because she obviously got injured last week. But I think once she's back, I think she could be the secret weapon for us.
Yeah, I've got to agree with Lauren Hemp. She just seemed to be getting better and better last season. And it looked like she started off this season well in that Chelsea game until sadly she got hurt. But we wish her a speedy recovery. Looking at tomorrow, then start with Jenny. How do you see the game going? Obviously, City usually try and have a lot of possession, but how do you see the game going? And do you know much about Villa to have an idea how they're going to play?
Well, I don't know much about Villa, I'll be honest. I have seen bits from last season, and I've seen a couple of the signings they've made. Again, I think Chloe Arthur is, going to be a good player for them. As to the game, I just don't know, because you don't know what team's going to be picked till it's picked, but I think City will go out all out attack. I just think, they'll want to get 3 points on the board as quickly as possible. And with the first game last season, we only won it 1-0, and that was at the Etihad. But it was a strike from Caroline Weir, so it could just be an odd goal. I don't think it's going to be a landslide. I think Villa will stand themselves in good stead, I think.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to Adam. How do you see the game going, Adam? Obviously, having watched Villa, what they're about, and I assume you've seen some of City's games, just because they're on telly a little bit more. So how do you see the game panning out tomorrow?
I think it's we've seen what team we put out again is massive to knowing how we're going to play as well, because a lot of the players coming in we don't really know too much about. I think it's going to be massive to us to keep the ball in the midfield and win the midfield battle. And I think we will do a lot of defending, but hopefully we can, make a game of it and be in it. And you never know. I mean, I'd take a draw now, obviously, but I just hope for a really good game. Our first game in the WSL, so look forward to it.
Yeah. I've got to ask you both. I'll start with Jennie. We're going to get a score prediction. We always got to finish this way. So, Jennie, score prediction, please.
3-1 to City.
Fair enough. And Adam?
My heart says Villa will get a draw, 1-1, and my head says 2-1 to City.
All right. Well, just got to say, we wish everybody good luck. I always want it just to be a good game and no one picks up any injuries and the best team wins and all that stuff. I'm going to say a massive thank you for Adam for contributing to this at the last minute, and for Jennie, who will be an ever-present in our stable this season. So thank you ever so much, Adam.
No worries.
It's
been good.
And Jennie as well.
Thank you.